Welcome to Fit and Bold, where we promote healthy lifestyles. So, my name is Lakita Goins, and I'm your host. Today, we're going to talk about seasonal allergies because it is definitely that time of year, even though it's cold, hot. But I have Dr. Miles Hartsfield here with me today from the UAMS Area Health Agency, South Central. Okay, the name got longer. How are you today?
I'm good.
So, tell us, what are the most common triggers for allergies during this time of year?
Well, the most common is just things that are in the air, like pollen, dust, those type of things. But other things that can cause it are, any pets, anything that really can get in the air and then you can breathe it in can cause you to have some of the symptoms.
Okay, and what are those symptoms? What do people come in complaining about most?
Most common is just really it sort of feels like a cold. They have nasal congestion, runny nose, usually coughing quite a bit, and oftentimes we'll see people with sore throats, and that's just from the congestion and the drainage going down the back of their throat and causing some irritation.
Okay, so what are some of the things that people can do to soothe these allergies?
Well, there are some over-the-counter medications, but some things you can do at home are warm liquids. So if you like to drink hot tea or even coffee, anything warm that has those type of vapors can help to loosen some of the mucus and ease some of the congestion. And then really for younger children or kids that are affected, some of the things in the house like Vicks Vapor Rub, and then the humidifiers for their rooms, those can all help.
Okay, so what do you suggest for people like me that have to go out and cut the grass, but it irritates them? What can they do?
If you're doing something and you know that it's irritated you in the past, one option is to wear a mask while you're doing it. A lot of people wouldn't really like that, it seems. Another thing you could do is if you knew something, a particular activity was going to trigger your allergies, would be to try to take something like an antihistamine like Claritin or Zyrtec before you do it, to try to ease some of those symptoms.
Now, those are over the counter now? Okay. Can doctors prescribe anything stronger for people whose allergies are really bad?
We can. There is, and that's sort of the what we're trying to determine when a patient comes in with allergies is how severe are they? Are they to the point where you're potentially missing school or work due to the symptoms? And in that instance, we want to start a little more aggressive therapy. So, in somebody who was having symptoms for a few days, not too bad, it's worse at night, that type of thing, then we would go with over-the-counter medications or possibly. And so on the other end is if they are severe, then we can start to think about the inhaled nasal steroids like Flonase or Nasonex, those type of things.
Okay.
That work a little stronger.
Okay. Now, with so many things, I know the pollen is really bad right now. How can you tell what people are allergic to?
Usually, a lot of people, oftentimes they know. They can say, I've had this several years now, and it's always this time of year when you can see the pollen on the cars and everywhere else. But really, it's oftentimes it is difficult to really pinpoint what the cause is. But most of the time, it's just from the history itself. So if they have a new pet in the house, or if their neighbor just mowed the yard and they smelt the grass and then the next day. So it's oftentimes just talking about what they were exposed to. We can determine what.
Now, this next question you may not know, but do people's allergies get worse as they get older?
Again, that's probably that probably depends on the person. Usually, my if I had to, kind of just make a generalized statement about, I would say, they're gonna stay fairly. They're going to maintain, and it's environmentally related too. So, and people who move to a different town, they might their allergies might get better and completely go away, or they might get worse. And so, I think it's dependent on a lot of things, and I don't know if age is really that big of a factor.
That makes sense. The environment can get worse.
It can.
So is there anything else you want to say to people that are being affected by allergies and affecting their work? Just talk in general about going to the doctor and what you think. When is bad? When are your allergies bad enough to go to the doctor?
So with the allergies, you know, the first step would be to kind of recognize that if you don't have a fever, if it's runny nose, congestion, is my advice would be, you know, try some of the over-the-counter remedies. So some things like Claritin, Zyrtec are safe, and then, you know, if you don't get relief, then it's not a bad idea to come in and see the doctor and then kind of make sure that nothing else is going on.
Okay. Can the seasonal allergies affect your skin?
Usually not.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but
right.
Yeah.
And then I thought of another question. Audience, I am all off script, just for the record. Some of the allergy medicines, and this is just me, they make me sleepy. Mm-hmm. Is that something in them that?
Yeah, that's a common side effect of things like Benadryl and antihistamines. Is they're sort of what we call anticholinergic drugs. They help to decrease the amount of mucus secretion you have, and then just inherently they cause a little bit of sedation. There are some non-sedating antihistamines for people who, you know, if they feel like they take the drug and it makes them sleepy, to where it interferes with work or something else. There are some options.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to come on and speak with us today. I'm sure our audience has enjoyed listening to you and learned some things from you. So when we return, we're going to do our Fit and Bold Healthy Recipe Pick. So stay tuned.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chance of being involved in a car accident. If you are texting, your risk increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile! Dang it.
To the invisible jet!
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Welcome back to Fit and Bold, and it's time for our Fit and Bold Healthy Recipe Pick. Drum roll, please. Today's recipe is wheat flatbread, actually. So, if you want to make a flatbread at home, you want to keep it simple, and this may be not simple. It may be fancy if you're making a sandwich at home to make your own bread, but it's our recipe pick and it's worth a try, and we need to try new things sometimes. So what I have in this bowl, or your ingredient list actually, you're going to have your wheat flour, and that's whole wheat flour. You're going to have olive oil. I'm using a salt-free seasoning, and I also have milk and water. So what you want to do is start with your wheat flour. Now you can buy this at any grocery store. It's on the baking aisle. So here it is, and as you can see, you see the brown color into it. It's really a healthy alternative, but I do forewarn you that wheat flour usually, and I don't know if this is the correct terminology, but it's a little drier or coarser than white flour. So you may need a little more effort to moisturize it. So that being said, our second ingredient in our bread is olive oil. Now you do want to put this into the mix. and this is going to be your healthy alternative. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to put 2 of these, 2 spoonfuls in. Now you can go online and find wheat bread recipes, and they'll have the large quantity recipes so that you can make bread for a week if you feel like it. So I'm just going to mix this a little bit so that the oil is just not sitting on top. But your next ingredient is, I'm just going to add a little salt-free seasoning. If you notice, most cakes and cookies you bake, you have to add a tablespoon of salt. So I'm just going to do a little salt-free seasoning. Not much, just a couple of shakes. Now, I saw some recipes when I did my research, and some of them added flaxseed and other healthy ingredients. You could also think about adding some almonds or nuts if you don't have any kind of allergy. And again, with our recipes, don't forget to consult your nutritionist if you have any kind of special medical needs or if you have food allergies. Just be careful. The next thing I'm going to add is a half and half milk, and just for the sake of time I have my water also all in one, and I'm just going to pour, because you want this to be a dough, so you don't want it to be too smooth like a cake. You do want it where you can make it into a ball. And now if you can see as I'm mixing, you can see that it's getting kind of firm. So what I'm going to do is use my judgment to recap, because I don't think I'm going to have to use any more milk or water. Now, but what I'm going to do is, at this point, you would probably just pick it up and flour your hands first, and you can form it into a dough ball. But because I don't have any flour for my hands and I don't want to make a sticky mess, I'm just going to try to use my spoon to manipulate. So you can see it really shaping up, and it smells wonderful, by the way. So this is what I'm going to show you. I'm just going to pick it up with the spoon to kind of show you the firmness of the dough. So it's already pretty nice as it is. But this is the dough ball right here. And I'm actually going to just put it out on the paper towel so you can kind of see it. But what you want to do at this point, you want to take your hands, you want to put some flour on it so that the dough doesn't stick. You want to knead the dough into a ball. And the wonderful thing about this is no yeast involved. You don't have to let it sit. Once you knead it and mash it out into whatever shape you want, you're going to put it on a non-stick pan, or you can put another coating of olive oil on the pan so it doesn't stick. You're going to let your bread bake for about 25 minutes on a 350-degree heat in your oven. Now keep in mind, electric ovens a lot of times get hotter faster than convection ovens, or traditional ovens. So this is what I want to show you. I want to show you my bread done. I'm just going to put it right on top of the other one. And mine is more of a square shape, but this is the finished baked homemade wheat flatbread. So if you have 2 of these, you can make your healthy sandwich, or you can make you a veggie sandwich, or come back and recook it as a panini. But the possibilities are endless, and you can make your own bread in little to no time at home. The baking time is the longest. So like I said, I know you may not want to bake bread every day, especially if you're in a time crunch, but one weekend maybe, give it a try. It's worth trying once. So I'm just going to break off a little taste. And you can taste the difference in the texture from regular flour. It's great though. So that has been your Fit and Bold healthy recipe pick. I want you to get your workout clothes. And please stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to do our Fit and Bold exercise.
Hi, I'm Sunflower Wilson, a recent graduate with a degree in fisheries biology. As I begin working on my master's, I am confident in the skills and lessons that UAPB has taught me through instructors like Dr. Hawkness.
Sunflower challenged herself with a rigorous course curriculum. Her efforts led to numerous presentations in front of scientific audiences at state and national venues. A National Science Foundation internship gave her the opportunity to go to Alaska and work with scientists examining crustacean physiology. UAPB prepares its students for opportunities like these every day.
UAPB prepared me.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
Welcome back to Fit and Bold. It's time for our Fit and Bold exercise. So I have Tori Gordon with me here today. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Okay, tell us about some benefits of yoga.
Oh wow, there's so many benefits of yoga. I think the one that people usually think about the most is just increased flexibility. So a lot of times if you're a runner or cyclist or play football or basketball, adding yoga to your routine can just help loosen up your muscles. Another huge benefit of yoga is just tension and stress relief. Through yoga and breath work and meditation, a lot of people find that they can ease some of their symptoms of maybe anxiety or stress, and we all have a lot of stress, so
right.
that's one of the huge benefits.
Okay, so just tell us what we're going to do today.
Okay, well, speaking of stress and anxiety, I thought we could focus on our hips and hamstrings today. A lot of times we hold a lot of our stress and tension in our hips, and since most of us spend so much time sitting in front of a computer, our hips are really, really tight. You may not even know it,
right.
But once you start doing some stretches that are aimed at the hips, you're like, oh yeah, this is this is exactly what I needed. So I thought we could focus on some postures as well as stretches to help with that.
Okay, well, audience, let's get ready to get our hips right, and we're going to exercise. All right, so show us what we're going to do for our hips and our hamstrings.
Absolutely. Okay, so once again, you can step onto your mat or to your towel. As I said earlier, the hips for most people are very, very tight because we spend so much time sitting. And our hamstrings are usually tight, especially if you do any other type of athletics or physical activity, running, walking. It's usually going to cause you to have really tight hamstrings. So I wanted to show just a few easy ways that you can work on stretching out your hamstrings. Okay? So for the first one, you want to come somewhere comfortable on your mat. We call this mountain pose. It's a basic posture. When you're in mountain pose, you want to think about lifting your thighs away from your knees, having both of the palms of your hands facing the front of the mat, and shoulders roll down and back away from the front. Okay? You can just stay here for a few breaths. Begin to feel grounded in the mat. We can inhale, sweep our arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Okay? Tailbones pointing down, shoulders are relaxed. Nice job. Then you're going to exhale, and imagine that you're doing a swan dive off of like the high dive in a pool. So you're leading with your sternum, hinging directly at your hips. And you come all the way into a forward fold. Okay? Now for most of us, touching the floor is just not even an option. Okay? So let me tell you a few ways you can modify. The easiest way is to just bend your knees. Okay? Bend your knees as much as you need to, again, hinging at the hips, keeping the weight of your body and the balls of your feet until you can bring your hands comfortably down to the floor. Another option is if you have a block or some sort of prop, you can bring your hands and rest it on like a little stool. Okay? So you're going to get a lot of benefits just even by coming to a simple forward fold. We can take ragdoll pose where you grab opposite elbows, so your forearms cross, so it looks like this from the front, and you just want to sway gently to the left and to the right. So it's no dramatic movement. You should feel this in your calves, hamstrings, and then a little bit in your lower back, releasing a little bit of tension there. So this is a great, very passive stretch to do just to begin warming up the backs of your legs, okay? And then from there, you can lower your hands down to the mat, bend your knees, round the spine, and roll all the way back up to our basic mountain pose, okay? So pretty easy, but will give us a lot of benefits. Okay, so from that, let's come down to the mat. While there are lots of postures in yoga that will help us stretch out our hamstrings, I'm going to show you some basic floor stretches because, quite frankly, it's just easier. Okay, so the first one is called Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. So things to think about here, once again, we want to find those sits bones. So you rock to the left and the right. We want our legs to be so straight that our heels actually lift off the mat a little bit. So really flex those feet. Good. You can start off with your hands right next to the sides of your body. Try to relax the shoulders, and again, pull them down and back. All right? Now what you want to do with the forward fold is it's really important to hinge at the hips rather than rounding the back. This is sort of how we were all taught, like in gym class, just to touch your toes. And really, all that does is create strain in our lower back, and we're not even getting more flexibility in our legs. So what I like to suggest is you reach forward with your chest. Your goal should be to get your chest on your thighs or your shins rather than your head to your knees. Okay? So all we do is we take a deep inhale, and then nice flat back, just walk your arms out a little bit more, leading with the chest, to a nice forward fold. Yeah. All right, maybe you can lower your forearms down to the mat, or maybe not. Maybe you're just right here right now. Another way we can modify is to go ahead and bend those knees. So we're right here in our staff pose, and we walk our arms forward, bringing the chest down to the thighs, keeping the feet nice and flexed, and you're gonna feel a really good stretch in your hamstring right there. Good. So that's a basic forward fold. Another type of forward fold you can do is to keep one leg straight. So in this case, I have my left leg straight. Bend my right knee, bring the sole of my right foot to the inside of my left thigh. Same type of thing, back is nice and straight, deep inhale. Then I'm gonna exhale and walk my hands towards the top of the mat. Maybe I can grab the ball of my foot and use my arm strength to help me pull forward, bringing my chest even closer to the left thigh. I would say hold each stretch for about 7 to 10 breaths. That's gonna be about 20 to 30 seconds, all right? And so inhale, lift. Good. Another stretch we can do is Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. You bring the soles of your feet, it's like butterfly pose that we've always done. Again, what makes it a little bit different from what we've done in gym class is that we're leading with the chest and we wanna avoid rounding the back. So we take a deep inhale, and then exhale, fold forward with the chest. Good, maybe our forearms come down to our thighs. We can press our thighs down a little bit more. This is a great hip opening stretch. You can probably feel a little bit in your hips. Again, 7 to 10 breaths. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Nice. So now let's try to focus a bit on our hips. This is called a seated pigeon pose. You start off like we did in Navasana, okay? So our sits bones are grounded, back is nice and straight. You can lift your right leg up and cross your right ankle over your left knee. So by doing this, you may feel it already. If you don't feel it, walk your left foot closer to your hips, bring your hands closer to your lower back, okay? You can stay here for about 7 to 10 breaths. It's really good for loosening up the hips. And you would repeat on the other side. If you want even more, you can keep your legs just as they are. Come down to your back. Lift the left leg off the mat. Your hands, they wrap around your left hamstring, and then you can use your arms to pull your left leg even closer to your body. Okay? And then you would do that on the other side as well. Okay? So those are just some simple things that you can do to try to open up your hips and your hamstrings. Other great things for hamstrings and quads, like if you cycle or you run or something like that, are just lunges. We do a lot of those in yoga, and those can be really helpful for just opening up that area as well.
All right, that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a great workout. Now we're going to go hear from our students right here at UAPB on what being healthy means to them. I have a wonderful student here that's volunteered to do an interview. Give us your name, major, and classification.
I'm Ashley Jackson, and I am a freshman.
Okay, so I caught you on your way out the dorm. You were going to work out. So talk about the importance of working out and being healthy, and tell us what you were going to do.
Well, I was going to work out with a trainer that we have for the 24-karat golden silks, and to me, being healthy means so much because for when you live a longer life, your body is fit, your tone. You don't have to worry about how you look in certain outfits, and you don't have to worry about how you look in your performance uniform because you have the confidence to know that you look the best.
Okay, and tell our audience what the golden silks are for those people at home that don't know.
The 24-karat golden silks are the flag line of the band.
Okay, so we know you have to be in shape.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this brief interview with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a student with me. He's going to give us his name, major, and classification.
Hello, I'm Dimitri Johnson. My major is agriculture economics. I am a senior here at UAPB.
Okay, so tell us what it means to you to be healthy.
Being healthy is pretty much working out, exercising, living longer life, having the ability to do things that you want, and pretty much, I don't know, just...
Hey, that sounds good to me. So, do you exercise?
Yes, I exercise frequently every day. I try to go to the gym and work out.
Okay, and do you eat healthy?
No, I don't eat healthy. That's my biggest thing. I don't eat healthy. I should eat healthy. I know I should eat fruit every day, but it's just my metabolism is a lot high.
Okay, all right. But would you be interested in doing any free classes through Black and Gold Fit and Bold? We have water aerobics, line dancing, Zumba.
I do some Zumba. Now, I do some Zumba. I see that online a lot when people work out because I need to work on my cardio, so Zumba will hurt that. Plus on water aerobics.
It's a great workout. So thank you for taking the time to do this interview. Thank you to our students for agreeing to participate in the interviews, and a special thanks to Ms. Tori Gordon, and she has classes at Tuesdays at 6 o'clock at Natural Bliss, and she also has classes on Thursday at 6 o'clock at the Waterfront Building right here in Pine Bluff. Remember, UAPB Black and Gold Fit and Bold has water aerobics, line dancing, Zumba classes, aerobics, so many offerings. All you have to do is contact Ms. Cynthia Anderson at 575-8000. Remember, getting healthy is a lifestyle journey. You should start today. Get fit and be bold.